It's the summer of 1996. School's out, you've got 50 pence in your pocket, and there's only one place you're heading before going home, the corner shop. You push open the door, and you're greeted by bright colors, weird flavors, and shelves packed with all the snacks you used to beg your parents for. These weren't just treats. They were part of our childhood. The strange thing is that so many of them have simply disappeared, discontinued, renamed, or quietly pulled from the shelves, probably because they were about 90% sugar. So today, we're taking a trip back in time to remember the snacks we grew up with. The ones we loved, the ones we miss, and the ones we'll probably never get to taste again. And trust me, this one's going to hurt. If the 90s had a final boss, it was the Turkey Twizzler. These corkscrew-shaped mysteries were the undisputed kings of the school canteen. They weren't exactly meat in the traditional sense, more like a delicious, salty, processed miracle. But then, the nation's unofficial dinner lady, Jamie Oliver, decided we all needed to eat real food. And just like that, everything changed. The Great Twizzler Purge of 2005 wiped them out almost overnight. Sure, Bernard Matthews tried to bring them back in a healthier version years later, but let's be honest, it's not the same. We miss that very specific, slightly rubbery texture and the bright orange dust that somehow stayed on your fingers until your GCSEs. It wasn't just food. It was rebellion wedged between a scoop of mash and some suspiciously watery peas. One of those things where you really had to be there. Roundtree's secret was the height of sophistication for a 10-year-old. It looked like a bird's nest made of delicate chocolate strands, hiding a center of creamy, mallowy goodness. It was fragile. If you put it at the bottom of your school bag, you ended up with chocolate gravel. But that first bite? Pure magic. It was discontinued in the late 90s, likely because it was a nightmare to manufacture. Every few years, a petition goes viral to bring it back, but Nestlé remains silent. It's become the holy grail of British chocolate, a fever dream that we all remember but can no longer touch. If you remember the "shh" advert, you're officially a 90s legend. In the 90s, we didn't just chew gum, we drank it. Hubba Bubba soda was a neon pink liquid that tasted exactly, and I mean exactly, like you'd melted a pack of original bubblegum into a can. It was aggressively sweet, probably terrible for our teeth, and absolutely brilliant. Opening a can felt like a scientific experiment. It didn't last long on the shelves, becoming one of those short-lived cult classics. Today, it's the ultimate nostalgia trip. Just seeing that pink can makes your mouth water and your dentist cry. It represents a time when drink brands weren't afraid to be weird, pink, and 100% artificial. Brannigans weren't just crisps, they were an experience. While other kids were eating Whatsits, the cool ones, or the ones with iron tongues, were smashing a bag of roast beef and mustard. They were thick-cut, extra crunchy, and had a mustard kick that would literally clear your sinuses. It was the closest a 12-year-old could get to having a Sunday roast in the park. Sadly, KP Snacks retired the brand in 2020, marking the end of an era for proper British crisps. We don't want flame-grilled steak or honey mustard, we want that specific Brannigans burn. The one that made your eyes water while you waited for the bus. No 90s birthday party was complete without a crate of Panda Pops. They were tiny, dirt cheap, and came in colors not found in nature. Blue raspberry, green cola, strawberry. It didn't matter. They were the fuel for every leisure center, disco, and school trip. They were banned in 2011 because of the no artificial colors or flavors movement, which is fair, but a little bit of our soul died with the Panda. There was something about that tiny plastic bottle and the instant sugar rush that defined our weekends. If you didn't have a blue tongue for the entirety of 1997, did you even grow up in Britain? Technically, you can still buy this, but we all know the truth. It's a marathon, not a Snickers. In 1990, Mars decided to align the UK with the rest of the world, and just like that, the marathon bar was gone. It felt like a betrayal. For a whole generation, this was the bar you got after swimming lessons. The name marathon sounded tough, like you'd actually achieve something just by eating peanuts and caramel. Every time they release a limited edition marathon wrapper today, the internet loses its mind. It's the ultimate proof that British people will never, ever let go of a name change, even decades later. Trio. Trio. I want a trio and I want one now. If you can't read that without singing it, congratulations, you're a 90s kid. The trio was a simple but perfect construction: biscuit, toffee cream, and thick milk chocolate. It was chunky, satisfying, and came in that iconic gold foil. It was the king of the biscuit bar category, towering over the competition. While it made a brief comeback a few years ago, it disappeared again, leaving us shouting at the sky like the girl in the advert. It was the perfect snack for when a penguin just wasn't enough chocolate for your afternoon break. Launched in 1996 with a massive marketing campaign, Fuse was Cadbury's attempt at being edgy. It was a solid bar, packed with peanuts, raisins, crisp cereal, and fudge pieces, basically the everything but the kitchen sink of chocolate bars. And it worked. For a while, it was the best-selling bar in the UK. But by the early 2000s, it was gone, quietly pushed into the chocolate graveyard. It was dense, chewy, and felt like a meal in itself. And every time Cadbury launches a new, slightly underwhelming bar, we all just look at each other and think, it's not a Fuse, is it? Sunny D was everywhere. It was marketed as the healthy alternative to soda, kept in the fridge to look fresh, even though it was mostly sugar and vegetable oil. It was so popular, it became the third biggest drink in the UK, right behind Coke and Pepsi. Then, the legend happened. The girl who turned orange because she drank too much of it, whether it was true or not, the brand never recovered. It's still around today as Sunny D, but the thick, syrupy, yellow tongue-inducing original is a relic of a time when we thought vitamin-enriched sugar water was one of our 5 a day. The Drifter was the underrated legend of the chocolate aisle. It was like a Kit Kat that had gone to the gym, 2 long fingers of wafer, chewy toffee, and chocolate. It was the bar you chose when you wanted something that lasted longer than 10 seconds. It had that perfect crunch then chew rhythm that was weirdly addictive. Nestlé quietly killed it off in 2018 due to low sales. But if you ask anyone over the age of 30, they'll tell you it was a top-tier choice. It was the reliable, humble hero of the vending machine, and we didn't appreciate it until it was gone. Okay, we need to talk about Monster Munch. Yes, you can still buy them, but are they the same? Ask any 90s kid and they'll tell you they used to be bigger, much bigger. These weren't just crisps, they were massive, aggressive claws that could tear the roof of your mouth apart with pickled onion flavor, and we loved it. There's a long-running conspiracy theory that they've shrunk. And sure, the mega bags exist, but they don't capture that 1994 feeling of holding a crisp that was basically the size of your actual hand. This was playground currency at its peak. Trading a Flamin' Hot for a roast beef was a full-on, high-stakes business deal. The BN biscuits were more than just a snack. They were a whole moment. Those smiling little faces filled with chocolate or strawberry cream were the highlight of any lunchbox. They had that perfect crunch and that goofy grin that made you feel slightly guilty for biting their heads off for about a second. They were everywhere in the 90s, thanks to those loud, slightly chaotic adverts that somehow got stuck in your head without you even realizing. Then they vanished from UK shelves for years, only to quietly make a comeback. But the nostalgia? That belongs to that specific 90s era when snacks were fun, weird, and didn't take themselves too seriously. They're a perfect reminder of a time before everything became minimalist and clean, when even a biscuit had a personality. So, there you have it, 12 snacks that taste like 1995. Some were healthy-ish, some were basically biohazards, but all of them were ours. Which one do you miss the most? Are you still holding a grudge against Jamie Oliver for the Twizzlers, or are you still waiting for the secret bar to return? Let me know in the comments, and if this brought back a few flavors you thought were long gone, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next one, legends!